guitar player, and I'd like to give all of you the same lesson here as well. I'm going to show you how I actually approach playing the guitar. I've got a little thumb pick on my thumb here, and this is my secret weapon. This is what lets me accompany myself. So, when I'm using the thumb pick, I accompany myself on the low strings of the guitar. I alternate between the bass strings, so that sounds like this. Okay, so you've got to do that with just your thumb. You notice here my fingers are flat on the guitar, so there's no cheating going on. And you know you're doing it right when you can stand up on a stage in Nashville and talk to the audience in front of you and not lose the groove. Then you know you're doing it right. It takes a while to learn, but it's kind of like riding a bicycle. Once you learn how to do it, you don't forget. The hard part is bringing in your fingers on top of the groove. So I've got to keep this going with my thumb, and then I've got to make my fingers play a melody line over what my thumb is doing, right? So that's a little bit like this. Okay, that makes sense? So your thumb has to stay really steady while you play this kind of music, and your fingers do the work on top. And you can play a lot of different kind of styles of music with this. For example, you can play some classical music, slow it down a bit, it sounds like this. Or how about some pop songs from the 50s? Disney fans in the audience? So there's a lot you can do with this style, but it gets really interesting if you turn it upside down. Because so far I've been keeping my thumb really straight, this kind of a groove. If we keep our fingers straight, and we start playing some bass lines with our thumb, it can get really funky. Now how about two melodies at once? So there's tons you can do with this style of guitar playing. But this all emanates from a man named Chet Atkins and a couple of guitar players of his era, Merle Travis and Mose Rager and Jerry Reed. But Chet Atkins was a pioneer. I played my tribute to him last night on the Grand Ole Opry. And he really brought this style to the forefront in the 1950s and the kind of late 40s, early 50s here in Nashville. Really innovative guitar player, musical pioneer, super producer, played on everyone's records and produced them as well. And every year I go to the Chet Atkins Appreciation Society convention out at the airport in the Sheraton Hotel. It always happens in July, the second week in July. And when I'm out there, I go in there on day one and you hear a lot of music that sounds like this. That's just day one, and we're all guitar players and we're all itching to go, and so by the time we've met each other and we've started playing, the tempo tends to pick up a little bit, and the convention lasts 4 days, and once we get to day number 4 of that convention, all the music starts sounding a little bit like this. That's how you do it. So now that you've all learned how to do it, you can go home and practice exactly what I just showed you, okay? Come back tomorrow for lesson number 2. Alright, deal?